In case you didn't know, the Nintendo Switch 2 released a couple of weeks ago, and with that, a bunch of games got huge performance enhancements just by virtue of being playable on the Switch 2. No patches were even necessary for games like Arkham Knight and Mortal Kombat 1 to see substantial improvements in everything from loading to the frame rate and even the resolution, but for certain games, the Switch 2 also was a net negative, at least for a little while. In the case of Mortal Kombat 1, that game was delisted from the Nintendo eShop on the Switch 2. Maybe I'm using the wrong terminology here because it wasn't removed altogether from the Switch 2's eShop, however, it was impossible to buy it from a Nintendo Switch 2 system. However, it seems that with today's Switch 2 system update, a bunch of Nintendo Switch 1 games that were previously unplayable on the Switch 2 are now fully playable. Notably, games that were made using the Carbon engine did not work on the Switch 2. These are games like Shantae, River City Girls, and other classic games like that limited run games published on the original Switch. They were broken on the Switch 2 until today's update. Now, most of them work now, but some of them, like the recently released Gex Trilogy, still don't work. However, when it comes to the topic of today's video, Mortal Kombat 1 is one of the games that was fixed in today's update. You couldn't buy it on the eShop for the Switch 2 before, but now, as you can see here, I'm on the eShop and let's go to the Mortal Kombat 1 page. Here we can see the definitive edition that just released a few weeks ago, the same one that I showed you last time, but now it says that it's supported instead of not supported. And it says that it was updated June 19th. So that's today, and it also says that previously identified issues have been resolved with this update. Personally, I would wait for a sale if you were thinking about buying this game just because it's such an old game, but as far as how the game works now on the Switch 2, I did a video covering that, so you can go watch that video. A link to that should be showing up right now on the top right corner, but the too long didn't watch of it is pretty much everything is 20 times better when you play this game on the Switch 2, except obviously for the graphics. Everything loads so much faster, frame rate doesn't even drop anymore even when you call cameos, and besides the way that the game looks, the other negative is that when you play it online, most people obviously are still going to be on the original Nintendo Switch. When I did the last video, a lot of people in the comments were saying that the game not being available to buy on the Switch 2 meant that NRS was going to be making a Switch 2 upgrade edition. Well, for one, this issue and why it wasn't playable on the Switch 2, or I should say why it wasn't purchasable on the Switch 2, this issue was on Nintendo, not on NRS. NRS really had nothing to do with why the game didn't work on the Switch 2, which is why it was a Nintendo system update that fixed it, and not a patch released by NRS. So that was never the case, and while I do hope we see a free upgrade, or even a $10 upgrade edition for Mortal Kombat 1, at this point in the game's life cycle, I really don't see that happening. Even less so for Mortal Kombat 11, but hey, stranger things have happened, so you never really know. It could happen, maybe. I do think it's more likely though that we'll be seeing the next Mortal Kombat game on the Switch 2. So there you have it, Mortal Kombat 1 is now purchasable on the Switch 2 for the first time since the console released a few weeks ago. It plays 20 times better than it does on the original Switch, and if you're a single player only type of person, the loading time should not be an issue to you anymore. Things are tricky when you try to play it online on the Switch 2 for reasons that I already explained, but with all that said, let me know down in the comments if you guys are playing Mortal Kombat 1 on your Switch 2s now that it's purchasable. Have you been able to find anyone else online who's also playing this game on the Switch 2? Because I haven't. Anyway. Yeah, that's going to be it for this video. If you dudes enjoyed it, you know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to keep bringing you more combo videos, online matches, and video game news. I'm SwitchPlayed. Done.